leave kids alone. Stop cutting off their body parts. Stop giving them chemicals that are altering their bodies and mutilating their bodies. This is a controversial thing to say in 2023 for some reason. And now Paul Stanley from KISS has taken to Twitter to give his 2 cents on everything. And he's getting some backlash too, because common sense is not so common this day and age. So this is what he says. He says, my thoughts on what I'm seeing. There is a big difference between teaching acceptance and normalizing and even encouraging participation in a lifestyle that confuses young children into questioning their sexual identification as though some sort of a game, and then parents in some cases allow it. Okay, now first with this first sentence, I think I'll take it even a step further and say with acceptance, you don't have to teach your kids to accept transgender ideology or transgender people in general. And I know this is going to get me a lot of hate for even saying that, but it's just the truth. We're in a free country. We don't have to accept it, and we don't have to tell kids to accept it. We're allowed not to. I think that we should be kind to our fellow man, so whether they do something that we approve of or not, we shouldn't hurt people. And we shouldn't be cruel to people, but do we have to accept it? No, we do not. and that's another thing is the part of why things have gotten so out of hand as they have, it starts with acceptance. And then it's a slippery slope from there. So, hey, if somebody else wants to accept it, go ahead. I'm a Christian, so I will not be accepting it. I will be kind to people, but will I accept that kind of a lifestyle? No. And I think that's perfectly okay not to. Okay, let's continue with what he says here. There are individuals who, as adults, may decide reassignment is their needed choice, but turning this into a game or parents normalizing it as some sort of a natural alternative, or believing that because a little boy likes to play dress up in his sister's clothes or a girl in her brother's, we should lead them steps further down a path that's far from the innocence of what they are doing. That's another thing is how many times do you see when somebody says they're transgender and you ask them why, or when they first realized it, or this, that, and the other. Why do they always cite, if it's a male, why does he always say, well, I always like playing dress up and girl things, or and I like playing Barbies? Or if it's a female to male saying, well, I like football and video games and I don't like dresses. Why is it always that? That makes no sense. That doesn't change your gender. Last I checked, being a female doesn't mean you have to like pink. So for all of time, and we've seen time and time again, plenty of men who like to wear feminine things or act feminine and vice versa. That doesn't change your gender. You can't change your gender. It's just reality. So, yeah. All right. So with many children who have no real sense of sexuality or sexual experiences caught up in the fun of using pronouns in saying what they identify as, some adults mistakenly confuse teaching acceptance with normalizing and encouraging a situation that has been a struggle for those truly affected and have turned into a sad and dangerous fad. It absolutely has turned into a huge fad. That's why you see statistically why all of a sudden transgender rates are through the roof compared to what they used to be. It's because, people have even gotten famous for it. I mean, look at Dylan Mulvaney, for example, upon many others. So it has turned into a fad. There are people who suffer. And do I think that people can actually suffer with that? Yes, I think it's probably a very, 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 very small, very tiny minority of people who actually feel like they're in the wrong body, so to speak. But do I think that it's actually a real thing? No. From a Christian perspective, I think a lot of it is demonic oppression. So we're all going to have different things that the enemy tries to tempt us with, try to steer us off of God's path with. And for some people, this is that. But when you're speaking about woke ideology as a whole and why this has been so glorified, and I made a video about this last October, I believe it was, where I said satanic, or where I said woke ideology is satanic, because woke ideology glorifies everything that the Bible is against. And in this case, the whole transgender movement being that. And people will ask, well, is transgender really against the Bible? It is. And if I prepared, I would have come up with the verses right off the top of my head, but I wouldn't be able to tell you. You can do a quick search. It'll take 2 seconds. First of all, the Bible does say God created them male and female, but even beyond that, the Bible is very clear on the fact that it is considered an abomination for a man to dress as a woman and a woman to dress as a man. And there is scripture to back that up. And it's not so much of, oh, if I want to wear my brother's hoodie, I'm an abomination. It's to try to appear as the opposite gender, and so on and so forth. So it's not, so not to get people confused. Feel free to do your own research on that. Dive into the Bible on that. So as you can see, some of the replies here, we have David here who says, they said that about gay people as well. It wasn't true then, and correlation is not causation. And then Mike Harlow here says, gays for Paul Stanley live. I love that reply. That's another thing too, is when talking about gays, all that stuff, is that's also another thing. Nobody is forced to have to accept it. And this is something that I think we really need to be pushing in society as a whole, is that this whole acceptance thing and this whole tolerance movement, this is where everything started, and look where we're at. We are seeing children get their body parts cut off, and we're seeing chemical mutilation as well, because a lot of people will try to argue and say, oh no, they're not actually doing any surgeries on children, which first of all is a lie, because you can see documented cases of gender reassignment surgeries happening on kids under the age of 18, and especially those top surgeries of girls getting their breast tissue removed as young as at age 11. It's disgusting, it's barbaric, it's mutilation. And even beyond that, they want to act like, oh, but puberty blockers are reversible, blah, blah, blah. They are not. Puberty blockers do permanent damage. There's a reason why people like Jazz Jennings, who had surgery, had that bottom surgery, why they had so many difficulties with it, because he was on puberty blockers, and guess what? He didn't have enough tissue to even work with. So when you put a male on puberty blockers, he's going to be stuck with a micro wiener. That sounds pretty like not a very good thing to me to be doing to children, okay? Not to mention all the other complications that are associated with it. So the fact that there are actually people fighting for the mutilation of children and defending this, and even beyond that, let's say even if they don't take any sort of medical transition procedures, I mean, you're encouraging them to lead a very difficult life. You're encouraging confusion in their life, and you're robbing them of potentially having families, and among a bunch of other different things, okay? So the quote tweet, when did KISS become right-wing extremist MAGA Trumpers? That is what's so funny, and that is what's really telling about people that it's on their freaking side, is that it is very telling that if somebody says, hey, let's not mutilate children, that you are considered an ultra right-wing extremist MAGA Trumper. Okay, well, if that makes somebody an ultra extremist right-wing MAGA Trumper, where is my MAGA hat? I need one. So anyway, this is refreshing to see a celebrity speaking out on this. We need more of this going on, especially since, that the mob are so aggressive. Look how they treat J.K. Rowling, But anybody just speaking out against this kind of stuff, like, dude, they are violent and vile. Oh, I got to relog in. I was going to show you guys a hate thing that I got, but just saying, people are vile. And I will, for wearing a t-shirt that said hashtag or takingtherainbowback.com, for wearing this shirt, with the Bible verses on it, about God's promise. Dude, I got freaking some of the most vile replies that it's like, dude, this is insane. These are the type of people who we don't need to appease to those type of people. They are just vile. So I did want to give an update too on my last video before I head out here. So on my last videos, for some of you guys saw, it's unrelated, it's a different subject, but where the voice actress for Seika on Horizon Forbidden West kind of came after me because she tried to make it look like I was saying she was ugly or looked like a dude when I was talking about a character model. See the video if you want to see the full context on that. She took the video down, and then the tweet was taken down as well. This was my statement on it. I said, for those who saw my video yesterday about the drama, the TikTok video and the tweet appear to have been deleted. I haven't received an apology, but I'm still vindicated. I hope that she learns from this. Maybe she was only shown part of the video and had an emotional reaction. I don't want to believe that she orchestrated this scheme against me, but a lesson still needed to be learned, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't react emotionally, essentially is what I'm saying. Like, hey, maybe actually look for some context. I don't know. Maybe she did understand the context and purposefully just tried to make me look bad, but what it looked like to me is that she had a friend there recording her. Somebody was egging her on. They thought they were going to get a bunch of positive attention, and it backfired. And given that the tweet was sent by somebody else or posted by somebody else, not her, and then that was also deleted simultaneously, it does lead me to believe that probably somebody from either Sony's PR team or Gorilla likely told her to take those down. So they are taken down. I am keeping my video up for now just because there was like 11,000 views on the TikTok last I saw. They had a bunch of people jumping on the hate train for me. So I think for my own reputation, I deserve to have the truth out there. However, if the actress wants to make a public apology to clear my name that way, I would gladly take the video, unlist the video, if she does not want it up. Because the last thing I want is to have anything affect her negatively or keep her from getting any work over just some petty drama she started. I don't think it's worth it, and I think what she did was awful, but I am not in the business of having people lose their livelihoods or lose opportunities or anything like that over something so trivial. So that's where it is now, but I will be keeping the video up otherwise, or even if I don't get an apology, if I am given some sort of substantial evidence that it would show that she would receive negative repercussions or that could happen or that likely is happening, hey, I don't mind unlisting the video because I'm not trying to make people lose opportunities over something so stupid, even though I didn't start it, but okay. Anyway, there you have it for this video. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Right now, it's like heck week for me with a bunch of stuff going on in IRL land. I've been giving you guys a little bit of a heads up that I've had stuff going, like I'm really busy with something. But just for my own privacy, I haven't expanded on that further. But this is heck week, okay? I'm like at the finish line here. So I still plan on uploading like 3 videos this week, but including this one. But if for some reason that doesn't happen, just know I am swamped right now. But anyway, thank you again for watching. I will catch you guys next time. In the meantime, go boom.